Shukuru sana Mungu anakupenda amekupatia chance nyingine ya pili ya kutembea. Usiharibu na upunguze kiburi.
Hata wewe ni kiburi. Mwabubi alikupea chance nyingine alafu sasa unaharibu.
Hiyo chance sitaki pia wewe chukua.
Wacha ujinga. You need to be 2 steps ahead of Awiti.
In fact, I am several steps ahead of Awiti. She can't stand up on her own.
Ngundi for you.
Wacha kusema ngundi for you hapa hivi. Hatuwezi shikana wewe tufanye nawe biashara.
Mtutaga vagi hizi vitu.
Jabi kijana wangu paka vibe shuri.
Health is where we spend quite a lot of our money. About 30% of our entire budget goes to healthcare. We started by starting to build a big hospital, and phase 1 is near completion. I'm hopeful before the end of this year it will be ready to be operationalized.
This is NTV.
So tonight, is it a masterstroke or a false step for the Tanga faction of the Jubilee Party? Sidebar can authoritatively confirm tonight that pressure from above, boardroom meetings and of course late-night dinners yield fruit, as a grand announcement was made earlier today that they will be participating in the ongoing regional BBI sensitization forums. Now, for the pro-BBI team that has capitalized in their absence, sitting on the fence, it's back to the drawing board. But is the door fully open for them? Will they be accommodated? What are the terms and conditions of joining the pro-BBI team? We find out tonight. And of course, look out for Who Said What after Cartoon of the Week, but just before Timer. But first, as always, it's my take tonight. And the leadership crisis at the University of Nairobi epitomizes the folly of permeating extraneous influences and, of course, the management of higher education. It's a mix of legal, political, and economic conflicts which collectively threaten to destabilize the country's premier institution of higher learning, and with disastrous ramifications. Right from the onset, the clash over the vice-chancellors that debacle going on at the university, it degrades the status of our universities, and ordinarily vice-chancellors and other top university officials' positions are revered because they are a preserve of exceptional individuals with proven academic excellence and records in administration, plus of course their integrity is very important, and occupants are expected to be personalities with virtues of academic and professional distinctions and are above pursuit of base material positions and of course power trappings. World over, university managers are appointed through competitive research committees, and that conduct always their inquiries and obviously conduct the interviews for them and identify successful academic and competent institutional administrators. Superlative academic performance is vital because such a leader is entrusted with the task of managing scholars and those whose respect is only commanded and demonstrated as superior intellectual and of capable capacities. Now, the crisis at the University of Nairobi is a consequence of bad government decisions laced with political and selfish interest. First, in 2018, the government published the statute, that's the Miscellaneous Amendment Act, an omnibus legislation that amended, among other things, Section 35 of the Universities Act 2012. Specifically, the amendment decreed that appointments of vice-chancellors of the universities will be taken over from the council and will be bestowed to the Public Service Commission. Now, this was the first mistake. Two things happened. First, the universities ceded their authority to the national government. Autonomy of the universities is an old practice intended to secure their academic freedoms, promote free thought, research, innovation, and experimentation. And second was a legal omission. The main University Act 2012 contained two provisions on appointment of VCs. but only one section, that section 35, was amended. However, the other section, that section 39, remained intact. Now, this section empowers cabinet secretaries to appoint VCs for public universities. Similar section, that section 36 of the Act, empowers the minister to appoint university council. And if you look at all this together, this is what created the muddle at the University of Nairobi. Now, that university, the University of Nairobi, holds the pride and a place in the national psyche. If faced with a crisis, the entire higher education sector is obviously affected. The imperative is to review higher education laws to resolve the inconsistencies and give better direction to that sector. Now, universities must be fortified from divisive politics and extraneous intrusions. So tonight, we borrow the words of Albert Einstein. He was a German-born theoretical physicist who developed the theory of relativity. He once said, "Education is what remains once one has forgotten what one has learned in school." My guests tonight, Joseph Simeha, Samson Cherargei, Rigathi Gachagua, and Cleophas Malala. At Ken Mijungu on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Welcome to our program tonight and join the conversation online. As always, use the hashtag Sidebar, and of course, Sidebar begins right now.
Ukiona mtu anaongea lugha ya against BBI ama against Uhuru Kenyatta ama against handshake, yeye yuko kwa tangata.
Even as we draft the journey of this nation going forward, let every community, let every part of this society be part of that useful journey.
What I'm doing with Uhuru, we are doing it for posterity for this country. It is not for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga does not have to be the president of Kenya.
Hii vitu yote inapigwa story ni Raila akuwe president.
Hata tutakuwa na hitaji ya kusema sijui BBI ama mambo gani ambayo tunazungumzia, if only we could live. Na tusikuwe na wasiwasi. Mimi najua wananchi wa eneo hili wengi wengine wanaweza kuwa na wasiwasi kuhusu ile mambo inafanyikia naibu wa rais. Nasikia sijui kulikuwa na nini siku nyingine ametolewa mavitu kwa nyumba imetupwa.
There was less mention of BBI than mention of Ruto and his home in Sugoi. I want to tell those friends of mine, there is no need to hurry. I will need people to campaign for me later.
Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the show. We want to apologize for beginning a little late, but Sidebar is underway. So I guess we start from what happened in Mijungu Stadium over the weekend. And essentially, what was painted is that there are two factions in this country right now. You either support the BBI or you don't support the BBI, notwithstanding the fact that the Tanga faction of the Jubilee government has declared that they are going to indeed be part of the BBI and the exercise that is going on around the country. But that notwithstanding, have we gotten to a point that now this country has to be divided by politicians along you either support or you're against it, so you're on the other side? Let me begin with Mheshimiwa Rigathi.
Thank you, Ken. I don't think there is any function as far as BBI is concerned. We were in Bomas in November, and we looked at what was proposed, and most of us were quite happy.
Okay, I'm told I have to sort your mic, so let me skip to I wanted to call him Mheshimiwa because this is essentially about politics. But Simeha, essentially, have we come to a point that this is just about you either support or you don't support, and because of that you're on the other side?
I think what everyone needs to appreciate is the reality of processes that evoke emotions, especially political emotions, that oftentimes they will be taken advantage of by politicians, by people who want to make political commentary. And this is no exception, But that is no excuse at all for us or for anyone to drop their eyes from the ball, the main thing that BBI is. So you won't have control over what different different people comment on BBI. You won't have control over what different people say, depending on their context and the understanding of BBI. But BBI, I think, as a process, and the initial product being the first report of BBI, remains, as an important, in my opinion, as an important national process and product that people need to engage in. So what Mheshimiwa Atuoli was talking about, and I suppose that is what we are making reference to, is not something you can avoid. I think it's not even something you should focus on. You're not going to stop it. We have had a lot more before, and we will hear a lot more after.
Okay.
But that's no excuse for us to use to bastardize this process of BBI.
Okay, but do you believe BBI has divided Kenyans along political lines based on affiliation?
No, Kenyans, unfortunately, there are many other reasons why we've been divided.
And not necessarily
And not necessarily BBI. In
Okay.
fact, this process seeks for us to have a conversation through which we acknowledge the reasons that make us divided,
Okay.
and hopefully together seek a lasting solution.
All right, let me come back to you because your mic is now okay.
Yeah, thank you. I was saying that when we came from Bomas, we looked at that document we were taken through, and we were in consensus that essentially there is nothing harmful in BBI, we can live with it. And as we were calling for an implementation matrix, so that what needs to come to Parliament can come to Parliament, what needs to go to the people can go to the people. I think there was quite a group of people who were quite disappointed, who wanted a contest of us versus them. Okay. So when all of us said we are happy with it,
okay,
you know, this is when now these rallies started. And we are saying these rallies, it's okay. But in our view, they were not necessary.
But then how comes the faction that supports the DP president held a press conference today to say we are actually joining
Yes, I'll tell you.
Yes.
What happened is from Kisii and from Kakamega, our people, those whom we lead and we are elected, told us what we listened in Kisii and what we listened in Kakamega, we don't understand anymore.
Okay.
We are all supporting the BBI. Atuoli is there saying that those who don't support the BBI are this and that. They were asking who are those people. Okay. Then they were saying, we were in agreement that BBI is okay. If there will be additions, the way the president said, go and read for yourself. Our people are saying none of us has seen a hard copy of this BBI. So when people are being asked to support in Kakamega, they actually don't know what they are being asked to support. Secondly, no member of the public was given an opportunity to say anything about it. It's just the leaders who are speaking. Then our people are telling us, we would have expected to hear about economic issues, our coffee, our tea, those things were not being discussed. So we are getting confused, and we want you also to go to those meetings and state our position.
All right.
Okay?
So it's
and on top of stating our position in those meetings, also have meetings in our regions, every county, come, since there are no copies, come as our leaders, take us through the BBI and give us an opportunity to give you our views.
All right.
As we listen to the people have spoken, they have told us to attend those meetings and talk for them and what they want. They have told us, in addition to those meetings that have been scheduled in the regions, they have asked us to schedule meetings in every county.
Okay.
They come and we discuss the BBI.
Point made, Mheshimiwa.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, so you have been holding parallel meetings in order for you to speak to the people to tell you what they want, but we'll come back to that. Mheshimiwa Cherargei, what you have said, and of course I want you to talk more about this decision today to bring the pro-William Ruto camp to start joining and going around the country in these BBI sensitization programs.
I want to agree with my colleague, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, that the handshake developed 9-point agenda. The Gazette notice that was done by Haji-led team, everybody accepted in the Bomas. There were no issue. What we called upon is the implementation matrix, as he has said, and therefore no one, I don't think there is anyone on record, either of us, that you term them as DP allies, that have been record that they oppose the BBI.
But when we notice, why do you come today to
no, when we notice, and I want to agree, when we notice what happened in Kisii and Kakamega, that the BBI has now been turned into ODM rallies and parochial politics and 2022 succession politics. So our supporters and our people, because no one has seen the 156 document in Nandi, for example, and that is why we are now, we now need to come up and assist Kenyans to salvage. You know, these people have hijacked BBI. The ODM and their cronies have hijacked the BBI. So we came in to salvage the good document that the president, by the way, means very well, because he said, go and read the document, analyze, synthesize, give us your opinion. But these people have hijacked, and that is why we are coming in now to salvage the situation, because they had hijacked, going by the what happened in Kisii. They mentioned William Ruto more times than the BBI.
Okay.
And therefore we
So
want to
you're
assist.
coming to correct
but
this.
Yes, we are coming to correct
Okay.
and avoid this hijacking, because by the finally, as I conclude, Article 1 of the Constitution, the sovereignty of the people is with the people. And therefore, we must get it back to the people, not Cherargei, not Regate, not Malala.
Listening to you, and Senator Malala, you're speaking next. Basically, what they're saying is you've been making mistakes, and we're coming to help you get this right. So they are coming to hijack what you have been doing. That's what they're saying, because you've been making mistakes in those 2 rallies, and now you're headed to Mombasa.
First of all, I want to laugh my friend off on the issue of hijacking. You know, you cannot hijack your own idea. First of all, we need to appreciate that the brainchild of BBI is Raila Amolo Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. And therefore, if you want to position yourself and purport that you're coming to, that we've hijacked the entire process, I think the custodian and the original owner of BBI is Raila Amolo Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta through the handshake. That said and done, first I would like to thank the people of the larger Western region, and specifically Kakamega County, for turning out in large numbers. And I want to brush off this perception that copies have not been printed for the people to read. In Kakamega, we had a preliminary meeting, a preparatory meeting in Bungoma, 1 week to the main rally. We met all leaders, religious leaders, we met youth leaders, we met civil societies, we met elected leaders, and we shared copies. They deliberated on the issue, came up with a memorandum, which was presented during our rally. The first thing we did was a communique from Governor Otichilo on the agreement that we had agreed as the people of Western region. And therefore, you cannot say that this thing has been reduced into an ODM rally. I am not an ODM member. I am elected in ANC. You saw Musalia Mudavadi attending, and I want to thank my party leader, Musalia Mudavadi, for making that serious decision to ensure that he is available during the Buhungu Stadium meeting. Honorable Wetangula was there. You saw Honorable Nick Salat, the Secretary General for KANU, was present. And therefore, this perception that these rallies or these
ODM rallies
is wrong.
But you know, when you're saying you're the only one of the leaders who has said that copies are available. I've hosted this show, I've hosted a number of people in other shows, and they don't see these copies anywhere.
In Kakamega, what happened is the BBI Secretariat gave us 5,000 copies. It was upon us as leaders to do more copies, to disseminate them to our people.
You did.
And we did it.
Do the copies.
Yeah. So I want to challenge my friend from Nandi to go and do copies.
And provide to the people. Yes. And probably translate it also in Swahili. Simeha, I'm about to call you Mheshimiwa. Simeha, are these people welcome? If you listen to what Cherargei say, there's going to be a push and pull on that platform. If you listen to what Cherargei is saying, do you agree with me?
I think that if we don't understand what BBI is, what handshake is, what the difference is, then we end up in all these games, and we lose ourselves and also lose the people. When I say we, I mean the leaders, and also lose the people whom we lead. Because it's important that the leaders understand what handshake was all about, what BBI is, and what the difference is. The handshake was an acknowledgement by these two foremost political leaders of Kenya, one being in control of instruments of state, and the other one being the foremost challenger on the presidential seat, was an acknowledgement that all is not well in this country. And it didn't begin in 2017. It's been there since time immemorial. The handshake also was a commitment that, you know what, we can lead the people of Kenya into doing something about this problem. Acknowledging it now, not just the two of us, but now as a nation. So that needs to be seen differently, though that's where the journey begins, but that should not be confused with now the BBI process.
Okay.
And also the BBI, the document, the report, an output of a process that is still ongoing.
So the question is, so, listening to him, do you think they are welcome? How will it be? It will be war on the platform.
No, they should be. They should be welcome.
Because he's saying they're coming to correct what...
They also need to understand what these meetings are all about and who is convener of these meetings. These meetings are not convened by ODM. They are convened by governance. In fact, if, and I hope all my colleagues here, your guests follow news, the steering committee of the Building Bridges Initiative has released a statement acknowledging that they were invited to Kisii and they were invited to Kakamega.
Okay.
And in fact, they sent technical people. And in fact, I'm one of the technical people who was sent both to Kisii and to Kakamega.
And now they're saying they're going to send more experts.
Yes. Yeah, that's the technical expert. Again, Mombasa. And they acknowledge that these invitations come from the groups of governors. And they also encourage anyone else, civil society, political groups, and so on, but as much as possible bipartisan, cross interests, to organize these meetings and invite the steering committee.
Okay, Mheshimiwa Gachagua, your mission to join this BBI team now is becoming apparent. I've listened to what Senator Cherargei is saying, and I'm still concerned with motive because I'm looking at it in terms of you should go and join and educate by saying that it's going to create, to correct an impression that these are rallies by ODM.
What the senator is saying is that the original intention of BBI was to build bridges. And we had a document in Bomas, a good document. That is a document we expected to be prosecuted in Kakamega. I listened throughout. And these people were off course completely.
They didn't do anything.
They were discussing William Ruto.
Okay.
William Ruto was not in the
but 9 point.
Said
what
he was
said.
Listen, he was not in the 9-point agenda. Yes. He was not in one of the recommendations of the BBI. Atwoli was saying, Musalia and Wetangula, if you ever want to lead this country, Ruto will beat you in the morning. BBI is the only safe route for you. He was saying there will be two formations in this country, the BBI formation and Tanga. He was saying.
But that's only Atwoli among a group
but
of
he was
speakers.
there, he was a key speaker.
Yes.
He even spoke after Musalia,
them.
despite the fact that he's not elected by anybody. Yes.
No, he's elected by Labour Union. He's elected
that was not Labour issues,
Union.
but those were Labour issues. He even spoke after Musalia. And Musalia Mudavadi was on point. Says, if we are going to deviate from the bombers draft, let us focus about the economic issues of our people.
Okay.
And we are saying why we are coming in. We are saying our people, the people we lead, are concerned that this BBI forum has deviated from the original objective by Uhuru Kenyatta.
All right.
And we need to correct one. One, we are Kenyans. Even if these forums are convened by governors, they are about the people of Kenya.
Okay.
And they are public forums. Okay? And we have a right to attend.
Okay.
We also have a right, the way the Secretariat has said, to convene. And we are saying they have given 5,000 to Kakamega. You have said properly. They have given to nobody else. And this now appears to be selective.
Yes.
In Nyeri, where I've come from, there is not a single copy. Yes. In any case, we don't want to make copies. Listen, we don't want to make copies. Listen,
I need to take a really quick break.
We don't need to make copies because this forum, this exercise is said to have spent 10 billion. Why do you want us to go back to our pocket? These are public funds.
I'm coming back to speak to you, and of course I want, because Mheshimiwa Malala was there, I'd like him to clarify that because he says they never had anything substantial out of it. And it was a bashing for William Ruto. William Ruto has said no less than that. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I'd like to begin with Senator because you need to clarify what this is really about. Right, let's take a break.
Changes in programming.
Babe, tuende, yani namaliza almost 1 hour before wewe. Tunakasirika namaliza.
Bahati Reality moves to Monday at 10 p.m.
Fact Finder, the show that puts you in the know.
The BBC Fact Finder will be at 10:30 p.m.
Fact Finder from the BBC.
Lit 360. Mwinga business tinga giri jali makali mapinga.
You can never really appreciate art unless you know the process behind it.
The Lit 360 moves to Wednesday at 10 p.m.
This is going to be a long conversation.
And Press Pass moves to Thursday at 10 p.m.
I have never known of any single time the Kenyan media and the international media came together to tell a lie.
Press Pass. Accountability to the Fourth Estate.
Jambi, tuonyeshe baba huyu mtoto.
Mbona mnataka kujua baba mtoto?
Shukuru sana Mungu anakupenda amekupatia chance nyingine ya pili ya kutembea. Usiharibu na upunguze kiburi.
Ni kiburis. Mwabubi alikupea chance nyingine alafu sasa unaharibu.
Hiyo chance sitaki pia wewe chukua.
Wacha ujinga. You need to be 2 steps ahead of Awiti.
In fact, I'm several steps ahead of Awiti. She can't stand up on her own.
Ngundi for you.
Wacha kusema ngundi for you hapa hivi. Hatuwezi shikana wewe tufanye nawe biashara.
Mtoto wangu avagi hizi vitu.
Jambi kijana wangu mpaka avae boshori.
The blind man told police officers, afade mimi sijawahi ona bangi maisha yangu yote.
Hizo ma award zikafanya watu waanze kuimbia award badala waimbe the word.
Mimi mkinichagua mtaona miujiza.
Anajifanya siku hizi.
Kimbia mara moja.
Naogopa Mwenyezi Mungu na uji moto peke yake.
Hiyo si bangi.
I saw yesterday in Kakamega the insults formed half of the meeting. There was less mention of BBI than mention of Ruto and his home in Sugoi.
Right, Senator Malala, that's an indictment to this team because you were also at the podium. Half of the things, according to Deputy President, were about Sugoi and William Ruto, which was very unfortunate, and that's the reason why today they've made that decision, that indeed they're going to be attending these rallies, at least to speak substance to their people.
I don't think that was the case in Kakamega. You all saw what happened in Kakamega. First of all, we started by having a memorandum which was ascended to by all the delegates from 5 counties of Western Region. That memorandum was read and handed over to the BBI technical team. Senator Wako was there. He received the memorandum, which are our suggestions as to how we can improve the document. And therefore, it is wrong for Mheshimiwa here to state that Honorable Atuoli was speaking on Deputy President William Ruto. I think Honorable Atuoli specifically talked about Tangatanga. Tangatanga is an amorphous group, you cannot want to say that Tangatanga is Deputy President William Ruto. We have a lot of respect to the Deputy President, and therefore we wouldn't want you to.
Why are you laughing? Why is that funny? Yeah. Why is that funny?
Yeah, and you see, Tangatanga is just a Swahili word meaning a disorganized outfit moving around the country aimlessly without any objective. And therefore, if Atuoli said that if you are not in BBI, you are in Tangatanga, he simply meant you are in that other group that has got no objective, that has got no goodwill for this country. And I want to remind you...
But Senator, we know what Tangatanga is.
Yes.
You can't give us a different definition of Tangatanga.
But Tangatanga is not synonymous to Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
But what if you hear Tangatanga, what would come to your mind today?
A group of leaders, clueless leaders, who do not have an objective for this country.
Okay.
Who are moving around this country. Recently, they have been doing harambes every Sunday until the old notes were withdrawn. Do you see them doing harambes? No.
So that's the Tangatanga group?
Yes, that's the Tangatanga group. Moving around the country aimlessly without any objective.
No, I think, by the way, Malala is becoming selective in the truth. Because Francis Atuoli, just to correct Kenyans, to jog their memory, he said the reason he has come out to fight Deputy President William Ruto, he said it is on record, you can even play. And the reason he wants to stop some people from going to Sugoi and what have you. And I know Malala, the only thing, by the way, I saw they handed the document. They are alleging that they are to the technical team, which is okay.
But did you receive a document from them, your technical team?
Yeah.
So you can confirm that the technical team received a document which had their ideas.
Absolutely.
All right. So you can confirm because of that.
You know, by the way, the handshake was between Uhuru Kenyatta and Prime Minister Raila Odinga on behalf of Kenyans. I didn't know what Malala is trying to drive at is to allege that this was a gentleman's agreement. So it should become an exclusive process.
Okay.
It should not be inclusive of the entire Kenyans. And where I sit, I can tell you the undertones is that the principle of BBI is very good when you read that document. But these people have hijacked to stoke ethnic divisions that we are seeing. That's why from what happened in Kisii and Kakamega, and I know President Uhuru would not support that, because Malala and his group are crafting a 2022 succession politics and their strategy by stoking, and that is why they surrounding the country and trying to create an imaginary enemy for their people so that they can coalesce as an altar of deceit and deception and confusion, which is a signature of
I want to state here that the issue of exclusivity cannot be argued on this platform. First, I sat on the organizing committee of the BBI meeting in Kakamega. We invited every leader, regardless of their political affiliation.
Across the board?
Across the board. Only to see some of the leaders organizing a parallel rally in Mumias. And that's when I came up as the senator for Kakamega and said, I will not allow any other rally to happen, because this was a defining moment for my people.
You know that's already wrong, because you don't have the capacity as a senator to bar other people from holding a meeting.
No, we were giving direction.
How do you give? You said you came clearly.
I was giving direction.
These are the people who are spending BBI, by the way.
All right, let me come to Mheshimiwa Gachagua.
Let me first this. The group that is the regulatory code Tangatanga, that is supposed to be moving around aimlessly. These people don't move around aimlessly. They are invited by Kenyans. And wherever they go, there are thousands of people. And if those people had a problem, they will not invite them. Number two, after the withdrawal of the old notes, Harambes have gone on every Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Number three, Atwoli said,
but why
no, I'm saying he's their leader. He's their leader. He even said the meeting in Mumias will not take place. He said he stayed and it will not take place. And this meeting was 30 kilometers apart. They said there are no policemen to guard that meeting. There were more policemen in Mumias than the public.
Yes.
So one, we are getting back to the old days of dictatorship where people cannot be allowed to express themselves. He said, he told Mudavadi and Wetangula, you people, if you run against Ruto, he'll beat you in the morning. Right. Your only way is this BBI. Number two, Fatuma Gedi and Malala, senator here.
Yes.
They said they want Murkomen and Duale to be removed from their positions in the parliament.
Yes.
Duale and Murkomen were never in the BBI. They were never in the 9-point agenda. I want to tell the senator here, you cannot remove Duale or Murkomen because you don't belong to Jubilee. Don't poke your nose in things that do not concern you. What you need to do if you want to remove Duale and Murkomen, one is convince President Uhuru Kenyatta to convene a PG, and since you cannot attend yourself, look for your friends in Keleweke, Kina Commander and others. Ask them to come and introduce that agenda. Yes. But if you want to do it yourself, you feel you are so passionate about moving Duale and Murkomen, you cannot wait. I think you resign your seat. Listen, you resign. No, let me say. No, it is not. I'm saying it is not, because what does Duale and Murkomen have to do with the role in parliament got to do with the BBI? Okay. These guys are just having a vendetta, and they are having a 2022 succession strategy, and they want to divide the country. They want to paint other people as bad and themselves as good. We are saying now we have come on board.
Yes.
We'll be together in Mombasa and elsewhere. We are also now going to release our meetings on Monday. And we'll mobilize thousands. We'll invite them to come as well.
Yes.
We'll invite them to come and talk about the positions they want to create.
Yes.
The Prime Minister, the Deputy, to come and tell our people.
Yes.
We'll tell our people we want economic empowerment. We'll have a national conversation. And if this BBI was about bringing Kenyans together, let everybody be allowed to have a meeting.
On board. I want to talk to Simeha, but I'd like to ask you one question. Yes. Because you are alleging that they want to divide. They stop people. Who the people you're referring to are actually in the opposition. How do you allude to the fact that the opposition can stop other people from doing what they want?
These guys are saying they're government. They are saying they're Mr. Fix-It.
No, but they're not government.
These opposition
not
people
government.
say there will be no meeting, and there was no meeting.
And there was no meeting.
So what does that mean?
What we are saying,
what does that mean?
What we are saying is this. Let us be truthful and let us be sincere.
Okay.
If this BBI, the original intention, as espoused to us by President Uhuru Kenyatta, is still alive, let's have a national conversation to bring people
together. Let me speak to Simeha now.
Yeah, but let us not use it for
divide
2022. And this 2022, nobody is incapable of starting a campaign for 2022.
Right now. Okay.
On the issue of parallel meetings, just before we go to my colleague here, I think BBI is a very, very important exercise. And we don't want people to derail this country with parallel meetings. And that's why we say clearly that we have already provided a platform. We have already provided... Just a moment.
The same constitution allows for freedom of association.
Yes, and I've asked that question. It's just back where I had
freedom
asked.
of conscience.
He's just back to what I've asked.
Can you show the Kenyans where he's driving?
You're just back to what I'd asked him.
You see, BBI is an organized forum, whereby we have a technical team which is organizing public participation meetings. And therefore, you cannot want to do your own public participation and talk to people. Let us use...
There's nothing that stops them from doing it. There's nothing that stops them from doing it.
What we don't want to have confusion.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me speak to
Simeon. You as who? We don't want you as who.
Are you forcing people?
Can we have some
Are you the BBI secretariat?
Let me speak to Simeon.
Are you talking as ODM?
Senator, I have to speak to Simeon. No, but he has to speak now.
Let me just put two points across the statement of terms of reference of BBI Secretariat. It is their domain to organize and coordinate these meetings. Where did it written where Senator Malala or ODM cronies have the power? No, you are an apologist of ODM.
Okay, Senator Cherargei,
you are almost being de-whipped in ANC. No. Because you are facing disciplinary action because you are bedildaling with ODM. What I'm saying is that the BBI Secretariat has the exclusive mandate, and that is why we are saying, give us the timetable as BBI.
All right, let me speak to Simeon now. Okay,
I would like to debunk some things, which are unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we get an opportunity to speak to the public, and I've had this happen a lot, and we immediately, in some cases begin to misinform the public, actually deceive the public. I will struggle to be polite, but it's absolutely ridiculous, and I've had, MPs, senators, and so on talk about this, to say that the BBI task force spent 10 billion shillings.
We'll get to that money.
We'll get to that money. Yeah. Yes. So I will. Fine. I'll leave it when we get to it. Then I can explain. And then the other thing is that these meetings.
Yes, the substance of these meetings. That's what I want to get out.
Yes.
Yes.
When these meetings, governors or senators or MPs or MCAs or whoever else, religious organizations are free to organize this. Just like it has happened in the past. When we proposed this new constitution, when we were discussing it before promulgation, civil society ran off, printed copies, and went around educating people, and stick to the substance of BBI. The same way we stuck to the substance of the constitution when we were discussing it. But unfortunately, this introduction of diversionary tactics is what is going to ruin the process of BBI. But let's remember...
From who? You think diversionary tactics from?
Anybody who attacks, another one who has convened a meeting to discuss BBI, anybody who seeks to disrupt, or there's a term you used, what you said was in the newspaper, I can't remember what you used. Anybody who seeks to take over another person's process, control, I think that is unacceptable.
Anyone who proposes to organize a parallel meeting to the main meeting, is it in that group?
If someone proposes, and I'm actually on record on television having said this, if someone proposes to organize a meeting to discuss whether they want sugar, millet, whatever else they want to discuss, let them have their meeting, but let the meeting that has been organized to discuss BBI go on.
Okay.
The difference between
allow me.
No, don't disrupt me. Don't disrupt me. Don't disrupt me.
Part of the BBI.
Yes, he shouldn't disrupt
part of the technical,
me. Yes. He shouldn't disrupt me. BBI is not just about the social question in this country. BBI is much deeper than that. It's about the national democratic question. As you can see, in terms of what's happening in the country politically, we haven't changed in terms of our bad manners. They will continue, don't be surprised. But BBI is an invitation for us to talk to each other so that we can figure out how to overcome this.
I think it's more for leaders to tell us what they want. It's not about for us to speak to each other.
Leaders are also Kenyans.
Yes, but they are imposing what they want on the platform.
They speak, but we as Kenyans, because if we don't get engaged, if we don't get involved, they will move on and decisions will be made. So let us not discourage any Kenyan because a leader has said something. In fact, I dare tell you, Ken, that people are even free to propose to have an Ayatollah in Kenya if they want. That's fine. Then as Kenyans, we can debate. That report that was issued in Bomas was not a fait accompli. It's not the final solution. So you cannot say that let us implement it.
Okay.
It was not for implementation.
Okay.
It was to come for us to interrogate it further and propose whatever else.
It's a report without recommendations.
It has
will come out at the
recommendations.
end of it.
You know, dark days are back with us. You know, now Kano is looking like the saint. They are looking like angels. Because if you hear the technical person, and with all due respect, I respect him, Shimenka, saying that when a meeting of BBI is in place, then there should be no other meeting, which gives the impetus to what Senator Malala was saying. What I'd say, Article 36 of the Constitution and Article 37.
Yes, I heard, and you're here to correct it.
Of course, the undertones meant that. There is every person has the right to freedom of association, which includes the right to form, join, or participate in the activities of an association of any kind. So it is not exclusive that when today you are having a BBI meeting in Bugungu, 38 kilometers in Mumias, you can't have the meeting. It is a wrong notion that we need, it is by force. Why is people being, it's like you're holding a can to Kenyans that if you don't agree with BBI proposals or you don't come to the BBI meetings, you are the bad person.
But why are you organizing the same weekend? Why didn't you do it on Sunday?
That is why we will release
why our
Monday, as my colleague has said, Monday we'll release our schedule of salaries. But we'll not go around intimidating people, forcing them that you must come to the BBI meeting.
Which is okay. Which is okay, but do you see the sense? Do you see the sense? We can't allow
the people like Senator Malala speaking with authority and saying you can't hold another meeting. For example, we are going to do a rally in somewhere in Nyeri for BBI. You can't tell women in Madira who are meeting over their issues that you can't have a meeting because we are meeting in Nyeri town. It will be unfair, fair, and we are starting at the wrong footing. And let me bring something to your attention. Let me finish this point. That is why leaders, their security and firearms are being withdrawn. Specifically leaders who have questioned. And they have tried to bring back the principle in the BBI.
I think that's not correct, and we can't let it pass.
No,
the reason why it's being withdrawn.
Those are undertones. Those are undertones. It can be tell you, those are undertones for people who are perceived not to be in the BBI. And that is why governors are being intimidated. You don't agree with the BBI, you are told, tutatuma aji kwako ama EACC.
Really? That's an allegation that you can't substantiate.
I have talked to colleagues, governors.
Okay.
And they fear coming out.
Let me ask you the question, Mheshimiwa Sherad Gay. Before I speak to Simeha once more. Halwale, when he went round to Vihiga, to Kakamega, to Ebuye, to rally support for the meeting that was going to happen in Mumias, one of the things he said is issues of Western Kenya must be left to the leadership of Western Kenya to speak about. You can't bring outsiders to speak about it. How does that connect with what you're saying?
No, by the way, what Kalwale said, if I'm not, that in Western Kenya, since they don't so much, because there is a section of leaders who want to create positions, they were saying Mumias has collapsed. They have issues of sugar, and they were saying they want to have an economic forum.
Why at that moment? That's my question. Why can't you organize it on a Sunday or on a Friday?
The issue is, it is like asking Kenyans, why are you eating today?
No, but that's not the point. That's not the point, Senator.
The issue is, we must allow this constitution to work.
Which is true, but answer my question. Answer my question. Yes, I'm coming to you. Answer my question. This meeting had been gazetted. It's going to happen on the 18th. Just answer my question.
This is an ODM rally.
Which is okay, but just answer my question. You know there's going to be division. I'm coming to you, Mheshimiwa. There's going to be division. And Halwale is going around rallying support and telling people our issues will be discussed by us and not people who are outsiders. Why can't Halwale and the team be reasonable and say, you know what, because you're holding on Saturday, let's organize ours on Friday or on Sunday.
In fact, can I allow so that my colleagues can intervene?
Yes.
Let me say, the meeting that was to be held in Mumias, according to Kalwale and company, was about economic forum. One of the 9 points of the document was the shared prosperity. And the president, even in his speech on the 6th point he delivered in Mombasa the other day, is keen on economic issues. And therefore, Kalwale wanted to pick the economic problems that the Western people are facing so that they can present the technical committee.
Why that day? Just answer me. Why that day?
In fact, when you go to international meetings, you have sometimes breakouts. Okay. Where you have, and Kalwale was doing that.
Okay, just in a minute, we need to take the last break, then we'll finish. We'll not take a break anymore. Yes.
There's a similar interview going on at KTN, another one at the Citizen.
Which is okay.
So a meeting 40 kilometers apart is not a problem.
But
you know? Number two, yes. Our friend here from the BBI told us they sat with the governors. This was done secretly. They have never told anybody. Today is when they have issued a statement. When they held the Kisii meeting, the term of the BBI task force had not been gazetted.
Yes.
Okay? So they were meeting these people illegally.
Yes, illegally.
You know, which means there is something that is being hidden. If they say they were in Kisii, the term had not been extended. What were they doing in Kisii? They had no legal mandate to be in Kisii. And whatever deliberations they took in Kisii are null and void because they were not in office. So what I'm saying is, if what they have said today is correct, anybody who wants to organize a meeting, let us know. Before that, they met governors secretly. If they had met us as members of parliament, there will be meetings all over.
That's a very good
point.
That's a very good point.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why Kenyans are having a problem?
Yes, that's a very good point.
We met in November. The president said... At Bomas. President said, read, interrogate, and digest. Up to today, there are no copies.
But
why people are reading this?
But why are you selective? Why are you selective? You didn't finish what the president said. He said January. What happened?
We'll start the process.
Exactly.
But we have started the process before the copies have come. So what are people interrogating? Let me tell you, Ken, the age we are in is not the age of being told. People need to read this document. So that when you go to the meeting... when you go to the meeting...
Gentlemen, I need to take a break. I'm coming back with your points. Let's take this short break. We're back.
Gari ndio hii eh? Haya, kujeni tuangalie. Haya, ngeni muangalie.
You people have been found guilty of listening to Nation FM until now Binda. On that note, everybody in this matatu is being paid for fare today.
Tunakemea January.
Just move to more music and less talk. Nation FM will be rewarding all Mathris tuned in to Nation FM. Watch out for the team as we visit various parts of the county. Nominate a circle that tunes in using the hashtag JustMove. Tag us and we will pay your fare. Kemea in January, only on Nation FM.
In the second phase of devolution, Kakamega County has realized tremendous change in all sectors. One such sector is the Ministry of Water. The county's vision is to increase the water reservoir capacity, making it available to the larger population of over 2 million Kakamega residents.
Tutaenda kwa serikali kupitia kwa bibi na Kenya sasa iko formation mbi ni BBI and Tangata.
I think this is the reason why. I think that's the reason why you're very passionate with what Twali says. But let me begin with Simeha. There was an allegation from him that you wanted to rebut, and I need you to answer this question: how did the technical committee find itself in Kisii before the president gazetted the extension of the term?
I will answer you these questions, but first let me begin by the. You know, the
but he said it was undertones, though.
The nefarious allegations he made. That's unacceptable for him to say that I said another meeting cannot take place. When I explicitly said, and I said that I've been on other forums, including television, and saying that whoever else wants to hold a meeting should be free in accordance with the law to hold their meeting, but not to purport to hold a meeting to challenge the other meeting, because that's what they kept saying. Bonnie kept saying that.
Yes.
That they are challenging that other meeting.
It shouldn't happen. You can't come and
just hold
speak for
your
us.
meeting.
Yes.
That's what I said. So that what he said is erroneous. That I didn't say that.
Correction
and he does say the senator says that we are going back, and Mheshimiwa also said it. We are going back to the Moi days of dictatorship and so on. They are inducting the Jubilee government to which they belong. I probably should agree with them on this. That's a self-indictment that we as Jubilee are taking this country back to where
We call it dark
ODM and
days.
other people help take it away from.
We call it dark days.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm glad they.
So Jubilee, you are agreeing Jubilee is taking this kind of
yes. Not the other people they're accusing.
Okay.
And then the other thing I said, I didn't say that I quoted from a statement released today by the joint secretaries. The statement says so clearly that they received invitations, not they met governors. They received invitations, and they asked technical people, or technical experts, if you like, to go to these meetings, listen, and pick up whatever new issues come up, so that later they can be used in enriching the report.
Okay.
Can you confirm
You remember
that when you receive our invitation, you shall show up and you shall give us the necessary support? Confirm here. That once we give you the invitation for the meetings, we are going to arrange for Nyeri.
Yes.
I organize meeting in Nyeri. We
technical
invite you
committee
the way the
is
governors invited you. I'm an elected leader, that you shall show up and give us the support.
If you are unable to reach Ambassador
Kimani.
yeah,
But you are here, speak,
I don't
you
know,
are
just
here.
a minute. No, because those are the joint secretaries.
Yes.
But if you give me an invitation, I promise on camera, I will take it to one of the joint secretaries.
Will they come? Can you give us a confirmation?
No,
that they
I
will
can't
come?
speak for
He
them.
cannot- he
I
cannot
can't speak
give
for
an
them.
undertaking on
But if
behalf
you
of the
give me an
secretariat.
invitation, I confirm to you, I will take this invitation to the joint secretaries.
I'm told the invitation has to come through Raila. And as we are not going to send it through Raila. So we'll send it directly to you. If you don't come, we'll convene.
Don't
We'll send you the
disparage this important please.
Okay. I think, have you, I think it's not
just
done.
a minute.
Yes. I'm coming to
Let me finish
Malala.
what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because
I'm coming to
I would like
you.
us to have, let us make an attempt to have an honest debate. Don't keep disparaging these, to me, very important issues. If you'd like the BBI task force to come to a meeting you're convening, they've said openly in a public statement, invite them through the joint secretaries. If you can't reach them, I am personally making a promise. I can help receive that request and take it to Paul Mwangi or Ambassador Kimani.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Question for you. How did they know that their mandate was going to be extended so that they had people who are ready to attend meetings and report back?
Ken, their mandate was extended on the 12th.
It hadn't been gazetted. That is the only legal way to know.
Did you know? That is a legal administrative instrument, for example, for them to begin to use money and so on and so forth. But it doesn't stop them from doing work without having to spend any government money. Absolutely. It doesn't stop them.
Okay.
It doesn't stop them. The governors met the cost of our going to Kizi. And I also want to confirm that other people also contributed.
So what Deputy President was saying about misuse of public funds is very true. He's confirmed that. Yes, Malawi, he's confirmed that. Yes.
Ken, I want to urge my colleagues.
Because there was no provision for the use of public funds for those. So he's just confirmed. There was no provision. There was no provision.
The governors have budgets for public participation.
Just a moment.
For what kind of public participations? The ones that are planned for or unplanned for?
Governors have budgets for public
planned or unplanned for.
If and when they convene a public participation forum on a public issue, they can invite
any public issue. That's what you're saying.
On any public issue of interest to their counties.
Okay.
They can invite a technical expert if they wish.
Good. Okay.
And if they have, they can meet the
clarified. Let me speak to Senator. Clarified.
Ken, I want to urge my two colleagues to benchmark with Kakamega. Kakamega, the issue of excluding members of parliament was not there. What happened was the conveners of the Buhungu meeting was, first of all, the Kakamega governor, together with his four other colleagues. They convened the meeting and they set up as a team, an organizing team which included 5 members of parliament from every county, 5 MCAs from every county, and therefore it was an all-inclusive meeting on the issue of inviting the technical team. What you simply need to do, Mheshimiwa Cherargei and my colleague, just do a request to the Secretariat. The Secretariat reports to the 2 principals, that is Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. If they give an okay for your meeting, the Secretariat will come. Yes, and that,
Mheshimiwa Malala,
that's okay. Yes, because the Secretariat,
Mheshimiwa Malala,
it has confirmed that
Mheshimiwa Malala,
okay.
Yes,
President Uhuru Kenyatta,
because he's a co-principal in this matter.
They have to okay
Yes.
public participation
By
meetings
Kenyans. They have to
by
okay.
Kenyans
to decide
No,
their
on
own
the
fate.
issue. No,
It has to be okay.
I thought the BBI document was about Kenyans. I didn't know it was
Yes,
about Raila.
but we need to remain alive to the fact that
Yes.
the two principles of BBI are President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, and therefore it is important for you, if you want to organize a meeting that is going to add value to the BBI. It is good
Who
for
will
them
decide
to
whether
know.
it's adding value or not? The two principles.
The secretariat will advise.
Okay.
Second,
Okay.
on the issue of
You
gazetting.
Frankly,
Second,
Just wait.
second.
Mheshimiwa Malala needs to be given an opportunity. Yeah.
On the issue of Atwoli saying that BBI is the only way to get to parliament, to government.
Yes.
That is absolutely true. From our end, as people from Western region, we have been excluded from government for a very long epoch. Since time immemorial, since we got independence, we've only been ruled by two tribes. Two tribes in Kenya. We have 43 tribes. And we are saying that BBI is providing a platform to expand the executive so that we can have inclusivity, and by that route, our community will definitely get into government. So I want you not to...
Top of the government, because they're already in the government.
No, we are not in government.
To be the cake.
No, so BBI provides, and Ken, how I wish we now discussed the substantive matters in the BBI, as opposed to
I'm reluctant to discuss the substantive matters to Kenyans who haven't seen it, because only Kakamega received copies.
But Ken, we're
I know
going
the whole of
around the
Kakamega.
country. Just a moment.
Just the leadership.
Just a moment. We're going
5,000
around the
is
country. Be patient. We shall come to your place.
Yes.
Like, for example, in Rift Valley, Governor Tolgos, through the leadership of Gideon Moi, will take charge of Rift Valley and disseminate the relevant information.
No,
but it is already planned.
The plans are
Ken.
No, it's good.
Can he finish? Then I come to
just a
you.
moment, yes.
You have to finish now.
The BBI Secretariat, and through the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta, has already given mandate to the regional chairs.
Yes.
In Nyanza, we had Governor Ongwae. In Western, we had Governor Oparanya. In Coast, we have Governor Joho. In Lower Eastern, we have Governor Ngilu. In Rift Valley, we have Governor Tolgos. And therefore, we want to even urge my friends who are coming to Mombasa. We will tell you, who are coming to Mombasa, brace yourselves that you're coming to Mombasa in an already organized forum.
Yes.
We have leaders who will take us through. And we had issues of protocol being raised today.
Yes.
That if the deputy president
is present and Raila Odinga is present,
we want to tell you here that we only have two principles in the BBI. If President Uhuru Kenyatta is not there, and therefore Raila Amolo Odinga remains the only principle present in that function. And therefore, we will respect the deputy president as the second in command. But in this forum, in this context, he comes second to the principle of BBI.
let me ask you, before I go to Mheshimiwa Gachagua, let me ask him a question.
Government of national unity is talking up.
Malala, why can't we be so realistic as to expand this space to accommodate even the deputy president? Why is it that you think it's just between the two? And this is about Kenyans. Why can't we just expand it to anyone? A clergyman can still be at the top of it.
Ken, we've already expanded. You saw all NASA principles are on board.
Which
you saw
is okay.
Musalia Mudavadi. You saw Musalia Mudavadi. You saw Wetangula came on board. Kalonzo Musyoka is on board. So from our side, That's not the question,
we've
already expanded.
Senator, that's not the question. The question is, why can't you stop narrowing it to Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, and also say, anytime you're making a statement, the principles in this are these three.
But that's
why
the
can't
reality.
you just make it?
That's the reality.
No, but
we
it's
must
the
have
reality,
leadership.
but why can't we just do it?
We have the leadership of
why can't we do it?
And we've not stopped any leader. We've not stopped any leader from attending the BBI meeting.
But why can't we expand it to have deputy president?
We've already expanded. We invited
But you've just mentioned right now that the protocol, if there's protocol issues, Raila Odinga comes after deputy president.
In this BBI setup.
Okay.
But in Jamhuri Day, in Madaraka Day,
public functions.
Now,
okay.
I'm happy about this debate.
Yes.
The senator here has confirmed that BBI is about NASA.
No,
it's clear. No, it's clear, and that is okay. And Kenyans are hearing, and that is good.
Kenyatta is not
No, he is saying NASA is included, so it's okay. Number two, this BBI, this money for going round, has not been appropriated by the National Assembly. it has not been appropriated by any county assembly. And they are confirming that the governors are funding this exercise. It is illegal. You know, the Constitution says that any money from the public coffer at the county government must be appropriated.
Tie it with what he said. Tie it with what he said, that they have money ready for public participation.
No, he said the governors are doing it.
Yes.
And I have not heard. We have checked. The County Assembly of Kakamega and Kisii has not met, and we have checked to appropriate money for this exercise.
Averagely, how much does it use to convene this forum?
No, it doesn't matter. Even if it's 10 shillings. Public funds are public funds. And there is a law that says how public funds are appropriated. Okay? So we're asking ourselves, you know, people from Kisii, all the participants were given 1,000 shillings each. Some came as far as from Kirinyaga. They spent 3 days. And we're asking, why do you want to take people from Kirinyaga to give them 1,000 shillings in Kisii? Why can't you come to Kirinyaga and talk to the people of Kirinyaga? Let me tell you, Ken, what is happening? What the kind of meetings ourselves we are going to arrange. We don't want transportation of people. We don't want the delegate system. What the people are telling us, this BPI is about Kenyans. It's not about selected leaders. Organize meetings at the constituency where we can walk. Let it be a public forum. We walk in, ask questions, listen, and make informed decisions. This thing of getting people into buses and spending money is unnecessary. Let us take BBI to the people. And we don't transport people. We don't have a delegate system. Have an open field. Announce the meeting. Let anybody who cares, who is interested in making some contribution to BBI, come. And before that, let us provide enough copies
and translated into Swahili if possible.
And let us not, let the Secretariat not get permission from the two principals. It's unnecessary.
Let them work.
This is Kenya. And this is about Kenyans. You don't need permission to listen to Kenyans. It is in the Constitution. And freedom of association is guaranteed in the Constitution. And you cannot say now that over matters BBI that concerns Kenyans, the Constitution has been suspended. Kenyans are Kenyans. They have a right to be heard by the Secretariat because it's being paid by the public.
I need to get to you because Tirage hasn't spoken.
Think or what they want.
I need to get this clear because on the issue of appropriation of funds and the fact that governors had funds to use, what is the parallel? Draw the parallel between what he's saying and what he told us.
What Mheshimiwa is saying is completely false. To say that it's illegal to
use public funds,
public money, budgets already appropriated for public participation for as long as a county prioritizes that public issue as important, that is false. When monies are appropriated for public participation in counties, they don't appropriate item by item by item. When they appropriate this budget line for public participation, they will use it to discuss agricultural issues, governance issues, land issues, whatever budget issues, and so on. Those are monies already appropriated, and there's nothing illegal about that. About people who came, for what I heard in Kisii and also what I heard in Kakamega, they are people who bring themselves from as far as Mandera, Wajir, and so on as observers. And I had a few who were given opportunities to speak, state very clearly, I came here to observe this process because we want to do this also where we come from. I heard, for example, Governor Waiguru say that. I heard Governor Kibwana say that in Kisii. I heard Governor Ngilu say that they are coming to observe so that they can go and do that wherever they come from. So to say that maybe they were, I have no idea that people are transported from I think you said Kirinyaga and so on and so forth. But what I know about these politicians, including the three of them sitting here, anytime there is something they consider important, say a public function somewhere, they like, remember you found us at the reception and asked who came with all these people, it must be a politician. They like that. They transport people. They go with people to these meetings. It's a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with that when they transport people to their meetings. But finally,
yes,
that opinion that my friend Malala shared, no, the steering committee, I'm not speaking on behalf of the steering committee, by the way, on this show. I'm just speaking as Simeha, but I have privileged information. So it's public information because now they've even shared it in public.
Yes.
So it's good that I share this information. The steering committee has made it plain and open. Give us an invitation. We would actually like you to give us an invitation. I don't think they need to say more than that.
Okay.
And they have also said something else. What is happening now is political mobilization for the BBI. That's all right. Let them mobilize politically and consult and so on. Let it go on across the country, as Mheshimiwa said, Senator said, they will do it also. They have also said in that communique that they will release a schedule of meetings, town hall meetings, that will be facilitated by the technical experts for people to come and give their views on the report.
Okay.
Now, these two processes are not mutually exclusive. They support each other. But the steering committee will want to ensure that, because there are all these perceptions about INEA, NASA, INEA, ODM, this is for this is for that. The steering committee will want to ensure that they facilitate meetings at local levels. I think they said they already divided the country generally into 8 regions through which they will carry out.
Former provinces?
Whether I don't know exactly the details, but they said generally 8 regions, through which they want to ensure that forums are held that are not associated with any political.
All right, I need to speak to Cherargei, but even as I speak to Cherargei, our Deputy Speaker from Migori County, that's George Omamba, has just confirmed this, that indeed there is budgetary allocation for public participation in every county, regardless of what kind of participation. So that's a Deputy Speaker, which I think is credible from the counties. Let me speak to Cherargei.
Power sharing, it is good, my friend Senator Malala. And of course, it is important he invited us to benchmark on other things, but there is nothing to smile about in Kakamega County. But I want to say on the issue of power sharing, you know, there is a reggae song, when you look outside, what do you smile about? So the issue, he has confirmed today that the agenda of NASA has always been power sharing. And that is what we have been telling Kenyans. They are saying they don't even care about, I thought the argument should be inclusivity up to the sweeper. They are just saying we want the executive table, the cake to be elongated so that us can fix ourselves. And that is what we have always suspected.
That's the implication of what he said.
Yeah, that is what he said. He said, and in fact, he confirmed that what we have been fearing, that they are misleading Kenyans by creating ethnic and political mobilization to achieve their political succession and craft strategy.
That's not what he said, but it's here.
It is there.
That's not what he said.
Number two. No. I'm just confirming what Malala is my good friend.
Malala will give you an opportunity.
He will give us time. Number two, the governors have been complaining that there is delay from the disbursement. Even most counties have not paid their people. My question, where do they get money to welcome and hire choppers for the convener, Raila Odinga, to be able to fly from here to Kisii, to Kakamega, and other governors? Number two, as we talk, the public participation bill is still at the National Assembly. We need a proper framework on how we can spend, because I want to warn governors, as I conclude, that the Senate Public Accounts Committee and Director of Political Persecution, Nurdin Naji, or political hitman, you want to call him, or ESCC will come for you. Because they will allow you. Yes, he's a political persecutor. He's just persecuting people. He knows what he's doing in his office.
As a senator and a lawyer.
No. Right. Of course. What I am saying, let me finish on accountability.
Yes.
As a Senate Public Accounts Committee, let me warn governors that they should not be excited now that the convener by the name Raila Odinga tells them remove money for public participation so that you spend anyhow.
But Raila has no authority to tell governors.
No, of course, that is what he has been doing. You saw Capitol, he hosted 5 governors, led by Governor Joe. What were they discussing? You tell me they were discussing pen and paper. They were discussing about resource mobilization. I can tell you some of us are normally privy of what is happening.
Okay.
So this, I want to warn governors, let us not misuse public resources to achieve political and ethnic mobilization for political agenda. Because when you come to Senate, we will not forgive you.
All right.
When DPP and ESCC comes from you, they will not forgive you.
First of all, Ken, I want us to discuss the issue of inclusivity. He has said that we are just interested with the inclusivity at the top and not at the bottom tier. I think inclusivity starts from the top. Ken, if you juxtapose the leadership we've had in this country since independence and the tribal profiling in the police force, you'll realize that even in the police force, and reports have even come to Parliament, that even in the police force, 60% of the police officers in this country come from 2 tribes.
Which report is this? By who? Who is the author of the report?
No,
I asked.
You should quote
No,
whether it's national cohesion.
Wait. I asked a question on the floor of the Senate, and you know that. Yes. You even helped me draft that question, so that we get the tribal profiling of all parastatals in Kenya. You saw that report. Yes. And 60% of police officers in this country come from 2 tribes.
Who did the report, senators? You can help me.
Cohesion.
Cohesion, national
yes.
cohesion. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Committee on Cohesion. And therefore, if you want to sort out the lower tier of inclusivity, you must sort out the upper tier. And that's why we are saying, once we expand the executive and include, let us have a Mijikenda in that executive, let us have a Luya in that executive, let us have a Luo in that executive, let us have a Kikuyu, so that level of inclusivity can trickle down to the lower tier. Second, I have started questioning the genuineness of the Tanga group to come and join us in Mombasa, because the same characters are discrediting the entire process, and then they want to come to Mombasa and pose as if they are supporting the process. They are the ones who are saying that money is being misappropriated in this exercise. Yet on Saturday, they will be in Mombasa, supporting the same exercise that they are purporting is being used to misappropriate monies at counties. And therefore, we want to evaluate the genuineness of these guys.
Before you admit them in Mombasa.
Who has the right of admission? It's not an exclusive club.
No, but you don't just come. You don't just come.
It's not somebody's house.
No.
Ken. Are you confirming?
Let him finish.
Second, Ken. I want all of us to walk down the memory lane, and let us stop talking money. You know, the problem with my colleagues is that they are used to money. They are used to talking money. They are used to singing money in their Tanga outfit until everything they see a monetary value out of it. And I want you to walk down the memory lane and quantify the lives we lost in 2007. Quantify the property we lost in 2007. Look at our economy in 2007, 2008, post-election violence. Once you remain alive to the fact that 2007, 2008 post-election violence dented the image and the economy of our country, then you'll not start talking about 10 billion, which is meant to make sure that the country comes together. And I want to remind them that the same characters have been implicated in squandering more than 21 billion in one project, the dam project. Now they are saying 10 billion that is going to help the country is misappropriation. Yet an individual squandered almost 17 billion in the dam scandal.
Okay. I need to speak to my...
We can assist him with more facts if he wants.
Okay, and I think we will be veering off completely if we go to that.
But
Senator has made his point.
Yes. Yeah. Our friend here from BBI has said, the Secretary has said, organize meetings and call us. Senator has said, subject.
Yes.
The Secretary had said, call us. He said subject
to the political rallies.
Yes,
approval.
Approval.
Yes.
For them to come, it must be approved.
Yes.
So that begs a question. Number 2, I want to tell Senator Marala, electoral violence in Kenya has not been caused by all those things you are talking about. Yes. Electoral violence has been caused by failure by leaders to accept election results.
Yes.
In the year 2002, Uhuru Kenyatta, our president, was a presidential candidate and he lost. He went to Serena and conceded defeat.
Yes.
And there was peace.
Yes.
What I would want added in this BBI, from what I saw in Bomas, there is nothing in that document that addresses the issue of avoiding electoral violence. It says, wait a minute, the things it suggested we get leader of official opposition.
Yes.
In 2007, when there was violence, there was leader of official opposition.
Yes.
It suggested we get a prime minister. We have had a prime minister before. I'm saying we need an introduction that we say we impose very heavy penalties and sanctions to a leader who refuses to accept election results after exhausting the remedial mechanisms provided in the Constitution. That will help us. As it is, the document that we read in Bomas, there is nothing that will stop somebody who has lost elections to go to the streets. And let me tell you also what has happened. This issue of the handshake, good as it is, the issue of the national accord that brought the Serikali of Nusu Mkate has, to a certain extent, encouraged people to refuse election results so that they are invited into government. You see, all you need to do is cause a little few problems here and there, and then you are told come and sit. Yes. And you see already we have set a precedent.
Yes.
Somebody says, I cannot accept results, get a few people in town, there is a riot, and then he said, come we sit down. Because I'm wondering, Ken, before you ask, I'm wondering, when he says that everybody must join government for if that tribe and that tribe, I'm just wondering what is happening going to happen to the principle of one man, one vote, which is a democratic principle accepted all over the world. You know, how shall we deal with it? Because if we try to say we create a seat for the lawyers, one for the laws,
it cannot
one
even,
for the way
it
he
cannot
said,
even be enough.
What I'm saying, there are 42 communities.
Yes.
How many seats are we going to create for the 42 communities? And what happened to the principle of one man, one vote? Let me tell you, Senator. Let me also tell you, because you are here.
Let's not go to that, because we'll open a discussion that we can finish.
But also for me to tell him,
yes,
if you people, by any imagination, you are trying to dilute the principle of one man, one vote, you will be in for a shocker. We shall reject that thing in totality if you try to interfere with that principle. One man, one vote.
Who are you? Who are we?
Kenyans.
Yes.
Who reject it in totality. Every Kenyan, no, the leaders, you leaders who are creating, you have told us you want to create seats.
All right,
you have told us you want to create seats.
Gentlemen, I need two things here. I need you to answer, just a very short answer.
Yes.
This issue about Uhuru Kenyatta accepting election results as used as a good example all the time of how leaders should accept election outcomes, electoral outcomes, right? Yes. What if Uhuru Kenyatta felt that he was fairly defeated, so he had to concede defeat? What if Raila Odinga felt he was not fairly defeated? Does that stop you from discussing?
The Constitution,
yes.
This is a country,
just a brief, I don't want to open a discussion, I just want a clarification. This is a country
governed by the rule of law.
Yes.
The Constitution has provided remedial mechanisms for anybody who is dissatisfied. And they are there. Within 14 days, you go to the court. Once that has been exhausted,
you need to keep quiet.
And you are somebody who supports the rule of law.
You need to
just agree. Because the Constitution has provided.
On that issue,
Mheshimiwa Malala, I have to cross to him, but I'm coming back to you because
that issue
of elections.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Malala, we can't go there right now. We can't go there. We can't go there to elections.
Just a moment. One last point. I want you to peruse through the annals of history of this country. And I want to remind you that in 2007, 2008, the person who refused and rejected results was William Samoei Ruto. And you know that.
Was he a candidate?
No, but he's the one who refused.
That's the reason why I didn't want to open this. The reason why I didn't want to open this.
Senator. No, but history can never be changed.
Exactly. We'll have an opportunity to talk about that. As you speak, because you talked about the money that was spent and they've alluded to it. So even as you make your point shortly, because we need to end the show, as you make your point, just mention the principle, the money that was used by the, is it 10 billion, was it less?
First, a quick one. If you read the BBI report, you know, I hear a lot of people saying we've read. And then when I hear what they say, I wonder whether we've read the same report. The BBI talks about the problem, the perpetual problem that arises out of disputed elections. And it actually analyzes the reasons in terms of mismanagement of election, in terms of ethnic majoritarianism, in terms of excluding groups of our population in this country. And there are many, many reasons. Yes. So to purport to say that the reason for the problems we have around elections is people refusing to accept results is, and yet,
and even as you say that, now that you mentioned, because I didn't really want to talk about this, but there's a question from a lawyer here. He says, ask Gachagua, when there was violence in 92 and 97 in Molo, who had refused the electoral results?
Precisely.
Those were not about elections.
Those
were land and tribal clashes.
But during the election,
they actually happened before the elections.
It was during the election. I remember very well. All right, let me go back. Let me go back.
Let me go back. Can bear him out because it was tribal and land clashes. The Kwime report captured.
And I was working at the office of the president myself
at that time.
Yes, and I was quite in
it. With that,
and we were dealing with it.
Okay.
And it was long before the elections.
So what you're agreeing that you don't have to have elections in order to have violence in a section of the country.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, disputes over resources and
can
so
always
so
happen.
Yeah. Okay. So and then coming back to the issue of what you've just asked, the amount spent.
Yes, spent. Yes.
I think the one person I've heard say this in public, I haven't heard actually the Joint Secretary speak about it, and I think I should encourage them to actually release information. But I've heard Senator Wako speak about this. And he spoke about a maximum of 250-something million Kenyan
You know, there are
shillings.
two senators. You mean Amos Wako? There are two Wakos, yes.
Amos
In the Senate, yes. Amos
The
Wako.
one in the task
force,
now
yes.
in steering committee.
Yes.
AG emeritus.
Yes, less than 300 million shillings, partly by the government of Kenya and partly by other people who have supported. This figure that people keep talking about erroneously and falsely,
the 10 billion
figure that was proposed by Uhuru Kenyatta in one of his State of the Nation addresses in Parliament, joint sitting of Parliament, saying that he proposes a fund of 10 billion for restitution for historical injustices. I doubt that that fund has ever even been effected. I don't think it has ever been implemented, that fund.
I think the other day Treasury released about 1 billion shillings, 888.
So we haven't even got to 2 billion. So
yes.
even if
to restitute and pay for
Treasury has released,
yes,
if we wanted to accuse the task force of the steering committee, okay, let's accuse it of that 1 billion then. But not to keep saying 10 billion. But certainly not anywhere near a billion. Certainly much less than 300 million shillings. But these people know, but they keep using these lies to bastardize the BBI process.
Okay, and I hope, gentlemen, that the Secretariat can be open at the end of this process and put out its budget and expenditures to Kenyans in order for it to be to be scrutinized, and Parliament will help us with that. Anyway, gentlemen, as we end, we have very few minutes, right? I have the cartoon of the week. I want to show you the cartoon, and I want to invite your comments on the cartoon of the week. But yes, they'll put it on the screens behind me. So let's take a look at the cartoon of the week, and as you answer, you tell me what you think about this cartoon that is all around. Take a moment to tell me, now that there's an agreement, right? Now there's an agreement that everyone is supporting the BBI. Why do we need mobilization? Why do you need to go around still mobilizing and there's an agreement? So that's the cartoon.
Where's that agreement?
But the only people who are perceived not to be supporting BBI have said we're joining this team.
This is a very serious discussion. Let's not go by perception.
Or perception.
In fact, I who is speaking to you, there are issues in that report that I do not agree with.
Okay, right.
So when I hear people saying all Kenyans agree with everything, I wonder which Kenyans.
All right. Mheshimiwa Cherargei, start us off with the cartoon. It's a cow tethered and held by someone who looks like President Uhuru Kenyatta. BBI is being sharpened there by Raila Odinga, if I'm not wrong. Then the cow is about to be divided. The biggest share, plus the head, and the ribs, the sweetest part, goes to the the president. Then the main ribs goes to the premier. Then the governors are down there, loin area. Then we see the senators, mkonaka place kadogo pale, MPs, and then Kenyans remarkably have been given the tail and the hooves. Start us off, just briefly.
Ken, I think it has confirmed our worst fears that BBI has been hijacked by parochial political interest, and the person who is sharpening the machete can confirm it to all, because he has been interested with power since time immemorial. So he's now preparing for the premier or for the presidency, and that is why you see it is very unfortunate that we have reduced, as my brother said, a serious discourse of changing the history of this country to where the political class or the elitists are now the ones dividing. Or as
I assume the cow is power, right?
Yes,
I assume
the cow is power.
Yes.
Or as opposed as to economic issues, the issues of youth unemployment, the issues of women issues of marginalized communities. But we have now reduced into an issue of power sharing, which has been confirmed by my good brother, Senator Malala, which they did last weekend, both in Kisii and Kakamega, and I can foresee they will do it in Mombasa.
But at least Mombasa, you'll be there.
Yes, right. I'll be there to check on them.
Mheshimiwa.
Yeah.
Call you Mheshimiwa.
I think, well, there are people who actually consider me one. Not because I'm an MP, but because I'm honorable. Okay. Yes, I see that is the perception of the cartoonist, that is power that is being shared between and amongst the people or the groups that he or she is. This is who he or she is depicting in that cartoon. But this is my interpretation of this thing that people keep talking about power. When you organize society, you have to define how power is shared in society for the stability of the society, for the management of public affairs. Even when you show there that, I think you used the word scan, the juiciest part at the president, they can never and should never be for an individual, as has been in this country until now. And that is part of what BBI should sort out.
Okay.
It should be that this power is held in trust for citizens and used for the benefit of citizens. not for the benefit of an individual. So that sharing you're seeing there, indeed, this BBI ought to be about, as amongst many other things, how to divide power in society and how to share and balance power in society.
Okay. And you're agreeing that Kenyans, Wanjiku should get the hooves and the tail?
No. Where did you get that just now?
It's there. That's what indicated.
That is not my cartoon. That is someone else's cartoon.
Yes.
Even the bit of the president, premier, senator, and so on and so forth are not for individuals.
Okay.
They're not for individuals to enjoy those bits. Those individuals can only be given that power by Wanjiku, because in fact the entire cow
should be
ought to belong to Fatuma Wanjiku and so on.
Okay.
Then she or he gives to these various groups of people to exercise that power on
their behalf. Okay. Cartoon.
I think this cartoon could not have been more appropriate. It captures the public perception, the mood, where I come from. I like talking about where I come from because I listen to people. My people, none of them is talking about power sharing. None of them is talking about creating positions. My people are talking about economic empowerment. They think the most urgent thing in this country is to put money into people's pockets.
Okay.
And what the senator here has confirmed and what was in Kakamega, the whole thing is about creating positions for people to exercise power.
Okay.
It's so unfortunate.
All right.
Yeah.
If in fact, I'm convinced that the person who did this cartoon is one of these honorable members, because it has summarized what they have been thinking.
Okay.
And if you looked at this cartoon from a simplistic point of view, you will get it wrong. But if you looked at it microscopically, you'll get it right. The governors, the president, the premier, the senators represent people. And if a governor gains, devolution has gained. The BBI report is encapsulated with the benefits of Mwananchi through governors. Devolution is being added 35%. If the senators get, the Senate as a house will have, as an institution, will have been strengthened. The BBI report cannot be simplified to an individual's gain. For example, we have issues like electoral injustices, the independence of the judiciary. We have the strengthening of EACC. We have economic revolutions, things that are going to directly benefit the common Mwananchi.
Okay.
And therefore, you cannot look at this cartoon from a simplistic point of view.
Well, point taken. All right, let's take a look at who said what this week.
In this country, we are only 3 people. Is the president and national leader of this nation, who is heading the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta. The other popular person in this country is Raila Amolo Odinga. After that, you come to Francis Atwoli. Wengine wote ni punda.
Well, that's who said what for this week. And finally, the last part of the show. It's apparent that the Jubilee House is on its knees, and it's just a matter of time. But the party officials maintain that the house is actually intact, that the foundation was very strong, but it could be that very foundation that has weakened the party from within. Now, there's 2 centers of power. That's executive power, the shared presidency, but one where the deputy president has no defining role, save for the fact that he's the principal assistant of the president and he's occasionally assigned roles by the president. Now, this is why the DP had to find a role to keep him busy, save for the one time that the president left the country for The Hague and Ruto became fully in charge of the country, and he found something to do. That's aside from the official assignment from the president. And tonight we go back 9 years to the month. This is when the Hague debate was heating up. We begin with January 27, 2011. The headline, Raila disowns Kalonzo shuttle to block the Hague. PM and VP differ on mission lobbying against ICC trials. Now, the meat of it was that whether the trips were aimed at having ICC trials postponed were undertaken on behalf of the government or of the president, then President Kibaki. Then January 29, 2011, Kibaki names new Chief Justice as ODM protests. This was because Raila was not consulted. ODM said no to the nomination of Alvisram as the CJ, Professor Githu Muigai as AG and Kioko Kilukumi as the prosecutor. A day later, ODM explained why it rejected the new Chief Justice. Then PM Raila said that this was not constitutional. to block the nominated AG from assuming office on the grounds that the nominations were not done in consultation with the office of the Prime Minister. You remember the two centers of power. And the Constitution envisaged that the new CJ should come from outside the current crop of judges. That was the other reason. And also that the Judicial Service Commission was not involved in the search for the nominees, and the appointments constituted serious contravention and violation of the Constitution. And a day later, Raila was calming the simmering storm as the president's party, that's PNU, strategized on how to go around the rejected name CJ, the AG, and of course the prosecutor. And that is a good place to end our show tonight. Remember to subscribe on Sidebar NTV YouTube channel. And just to remind you, in December, we sat here and asked Deputy President William Ruto to join us on Sidebar on the table. And he has gracefully agreed to be with us on the show. However, not on Sidebar. So Deputy President will be live on NTV on Thursday, beginning 9 p.m. from his office or residence in Karen. So join us for that on Thursday at 9 p.m. Let's have a good night. And thank you, gentlemen, for coming and sharing your perspectives. Let's do this again next week on Tuesday. Same place, same time. Have a good night on behalf of my team.